Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for April 2025 for each life path number. Before we get into the forecast, this is a general reading. If you would like your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. My information's in the description box below. I would love to work with you. All right, let's take a look to see what April has in store. Life Path 22-4. So we're going to be working with the vibration of the 35-8 for this month. So the 8 energy automatically brings in an emphasis on power, money, status, influence, sort of your place in the world in a business capacity or your contribution in the world, right? Like if you're someone who's not working or doesn't need to work, you could see your place in the world really be sort of amplified at this time. Philanthropy would also be something that could come in, or even your place in the world in that sense, right? So like this could be a time where you volunteer more, you invest more of your time and energy and resources into the greater good in some way, where your contribution is sort of at the forefront. So there's a strong emphasis there this month. This is a period when almost anything can happen. It's one of those really ambiguous times. So I would say, and this can be difficult for fours, right? Which we are fours at the heart of our life path. You know, this is going to be a time where we have to release control and be prepared for whatever comes in, right? Be prepared to adapt and to work with whatever shows up, because it will likely be very different and unexpected than what we could envision. And usually when we're trying to envision how things are going to work out, there's a level of control there. And this is really going to be a month where that's going to really bite us in the butt. So you just want to make sure that if you're trying to control things too much, or you've got too high of expectations around people or things or experiences this month, this is going to be a time to manage those expectations, because really it's kind of a grab bag this month. Anything can happen. So there's definitely going to be this demand for responsibility, for discipline, but that's something that again is right up our alley. We're not, that's something we're usually accustomed to, is having to persevere and continue to show up and see things through to completion and all that with patience and all of the things. So this month that could really be tested, where again, there's kind of a lot of moving parts. And we just have to be responsible, be disciplined, persevere, right? Move with the punches, so to speak. And it's not like it's going to be, all awful and challenging this month. I don't see that at all. I think it's actually going to be pretty powerful. There's a whole lot of energy here around recognition and business and success and accolades and stepping into our power and being seen and being experienced and all these things, right? So it's very, very possible, but it's going to require us to likely take on more, right? So in other words, you might have a situation where you're promoted at work, and because of that promotion, you have to take on more pressure and more responsibility or more whatever. And so it's going to be about managing that in a way that is healthy and sustainable. You could see that you get some kind of honors this month that reflect your past effort. Everything with 4 energy is in 22-4 is past effort, right? Nothing is usually handed over. So much of what could come in this month, especially around recognition, success, business accolades, etc., is things that you've been working towards. These are things that you've been invested in, you've been working towards, but you will likely see that come to fruition this month in a big way, potentially. And usually what we forget about is when we get those accolades, when we get that recognition, when we get that promotion or whatever, it's great, feels wonderful, right? It's an achievement, it's fulfilling. But usually, that opens the floodgates for even more of that, right? So again, if you have been kind of moving in the shadows for the last however long, and then all of a sudden you get massive recognition, guess what? You can't live in the shadows anymore. You are out in the forefront. You've got to, so there's a lot of change that can happen this month that may be expected, but could be very much unexpected. And it's not that we don't expect the change. I think that anytime a 22-4 dedicates themselves to something and a solution or a goal, we see ourselves achieving that goal, but we're not always tuned into what that will open up for us, right? Or what that will look like. And sometimes we're not prepared for that. And that can be sort of a beast to slay in its own way. So yeah, I would say definitely, again, anything can happen this month. Just prepare yourself to, again, not burn the candle at both ends. Not, again, if you get a promotion and it requires a lot more effort, a lot more responsibility, yes, you're going to have to find your way to manage that, but you've also got to find ways to rejuvenate, self-soothe, make sure that you're resting, all of those things, or you're just going to burn yourself out. So it's a very nuanced type of energy to work with. Again, this is a money vibration, right? We're at the core of this is 8 energy. So this is a money vibe. This is, could be a job advancement again, which usually indicates some kind of increase of salary. This could be, you get recognition or some kind of notoriety, and that creates an influx of clients or something like that. Inheritance also falls under this energy. For some, this could be some kind of inheritance or another source of money through some kind of, like a settlement or something is possible during this month. And, again, you've just got to figure out how you're going to manage that money, because now you're in a different situation than you were previously, potentially. It is possible that the pressures of this period could affect your health, but only if you push yourself too much, if you worry too much, if you sort of let this energy take the reins type of thing. And again, like I said, if you're someone who's been working in the shadows and then all of a sudden you get all this recognition, now you're no longer in the shadows. So you've got to, instead of worrying about how that's going to change your life and what's that going to look like, this is an energy that helps you to figure that out, right? Like how to manage your new landscape, your new experience. And, all of this might not happen this month, but you could see things. And again, this is a general reading. So, we've got to look at your own personal numerology to know what's actually happening for you. But this is the overarching universal energy that we'll all feel to some degree. And so, this is a great time to figure out how to maneuver through this new landscape that will likely be coming in some way, shape, or form. And we might not see it come in straight away in April, but we'll likely have an indication of what it is and how it will look. Because remember, we're also in the midst of eclipse season. So I don't really see a lot happening immediately in April. I see it kind of being progressive and unfolding. But for 22-4s, has the potential to be wildly significant. And just based on the numerology, I would say for 22-4s who are in their mid 40s and beyond, I think for you all, well, I'd say for all of us, for us, right? I'm 48. This is a time when we could actually see those rewards coming in, from the years and years of due diligence and effort and perseverance and all of that, right? Not that it can't happen for younger 22-4s, but typically with master numbers, that success, that those accolades, that those achievements on the grander scale come in later in life. And so if you're, like I said, mid 40s and beyond, this could be a really exciting and really powerful month for you all as it begins to unfold, and progress into the coming year for sure. So again, what I would say is make sufficient time for rest, make sure that you're giving your body what it needs. Don't get too swept up in this energy to where you lose yourself, because that's only going to, of course, come back and bite us. So just, roll with it, see where it takes you, immerse yourself in it, but don't lose yourself in it. Okay, so I pulled an animal wisdom message. And we got hawk energy. I love this because this is, of course, this is very much 8 energy, right? It's very empowering. It's very much about being in control of your situation, of the dynamic, which I know I just said we got to release control this month, but there's, we always have some level of control over our experiences, of course. We have our own autonomy, etc. But with hawk energy, there's a very it's very refined energy. It's very strategic in its movement, right? Like in its hunting and in how it moves through even how it presents itself, right? In the sky or when it's perched, there's a presence to this energy, and it's very like streamlined. I don't know how else to put it, but it's a presence, right? And so there's an energy here that's saying, stay present this month. It's not about having control. It's about being present. And I think that there's a really, there's a distinction there that needs to be made, right? It's not about control. It's about presence. And this energy this month, because it's going to be a fast moving energy, and fours aren't used to that. So it's a fast moving energy, and we can feel really alive and really excited about things, starting to move and like come in and rewards and all that, right? But we can get caught up in it, and we can start to worry about the future, the next steps, maintaining this momentum, blah, blah, blah. And we can get caught up in that worry, right? Where we're caught up in the future of what might happen, what could happen. Or we could get caught up in the past, right? That's possible. But with hawk energy coming through, it's asking us to be very present, to be very focused and present. So this month, the only way you're going to recognize if, you're burning the candle at both ends, or you're burning yourself out, or whatever it may be, or if you're saying yes to things that you don't feel comfortable saying yes to, the only way you're going to know that is if you're present. So there's a lot here about coming back to the present moment, checking with yourself, right? Making sure that everything's good, and then moving forward. So if you start to get stuck in the monkey mind of worrying about the future or stressing about things that are out of your control, come back to the present, because that's where you can manage it. That's where you can deconstruct it. That's where you can work with it. So big energy this month, 22s. Hope it's a great one. Bye for now.